From the general public to the corridors of power in Turkey, there is a growing feeling that the European Union is not living up to its part of the commitment with Turkey. In some European countries, the far right is on the rise. And here in Turkey, we're witnessing a rise in anti-American and anti-European sentiments. Given the situation, how do we go about building bridges? We talked to Roberto Montella, the Secretary General of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe's Parliamentary Assembly. You're watching TRT World, and this is One-on-One Express. Mr. Montella, thank you very much indeed for talking to TRT World. Now, given the situation in Turkey, how would you describe the purpose of your visit at the moment?
The genesis of this visit is exactly to try to come here in person, to come and see, and to come and send a strong message, not only verbal, but also visual. So this was the purpose of the visit. First message, very clear condemnation of the coup d'etat. The other strong message that we wanted to send was a clear sign of condolences for the victims. This is a tragic event. We have seen other tragic events in the past years in France, in Germany, attacks, and we've seen also the strong international reactions against this event. So for us, it was very tragic to see the number of casualties, the number of injuries, and of course also to the injuries goes our sympathy for prompt recovery. One aspect that really shocked the delegation, as they are members of parliament, was the bombing of the parliament. We saw the building, we saw the place where actually the bombs fell on parliament. We were told that not even during the war the parliament was hit as a target. I mean, normally the parliament is the house of the people, is the symbol of democracy. This is totally unacceptable, to bomb the parliament. And to imagine the army bombing its own parliament, we could appreciate while speaking to all the interlocutors from the governmental side, the opposition side, but the civil society, the citizens, we could see how shocked they were by these facts. So this is something that has left a strong marker in our delegation as they are members of parliament. So first message, condemnation of the coup, solidarity with the families of those who have lost relatives, support to those who are injured, strong condemnation of the attack to the parliament.
Now, the response in Turkey, when you talk to the general public, the opposition, the government, is that there is this double standard, selective outrage coming from the West, especially post-coup in Turkey. What's your assessment of that?
I have indeed registered this in all our interlocutors. There is a strong disappointment from the way the international community has reacted. I felt like here the Turkish authorities would have liked to see something similar to what happened in Paris after the Charlie Hebdo. They would have liked to see "Je suis Istanbul, je suis Ankara," some kind of. I remember your Prime Minister was in Paris together with all the world leaders. They would have liked to see this kind of deployment of international leadership, and they are sincerely disappointed by this. I have noticed a strong sadness in the political leadership, and I hope this delegation somehow has bridged that, but this delegation will also try to convey the message in our capitals to also ensure that the international response, which probably was not so strong, at least in terms of physical presence. I think in the statements there was strong condemnation, but probably not physical presence on the ground, that will now change.
Now, a bone of contention at the moment is the migrant deal, the EU visa-free travel for Turkey. Turkey feels that it has been living up to its part of the commitment. Europe has not been doing that. What is your take on this situation?
I have myself witnessed the work that Turkey has done in terms of the migration. I was myself hosted by Mr. Eminone in Şanlıurfa in 2012. In 2015, I've seen refugee camps, and I've seen the efforts that Turkey has made long before the European Union provided funds to help this. When Turkey, with its own budget, was supporting what they never called refugees, but they always called our Syrian guests. And in delegations visiting, this was a great impression of.
How should Turkey and the West go about maintaining good relations?
In the aftermath of the coup, I know there is maybe some criticism out of Turkey about how things are being conducted in the judiciary, in the law enforcement. We said to our Turkish friends, you of course need to investigate what has happened, you need to do it swiftly, you need to do it efficiently, you have the mechanisms to do it through the rule of law, and we've got clear assurances that this is going to happen within the framework of the rule of law in Turkey and within the framework of the international conventions that Turkey has itself written and decided to take part to. So this is my advice would be, continue to do that, continue to do it in the maximum transparency, and feel free maybe to invite internationals like the OSCE. They have mechanisms also to help the participating state in looking at the way the judiciary is conducting trials. Do it in the most transparent manner because you have nothing to hide.
Turkey often feels that the advice coming from many international bodies like OSCE is often one-sided. How do you go about addressing this concern?
I think the way to destroy the perception of double standards is to exactly act without double standards. In all our functions, I am now in these functions pro tempore. There are others who are doing who have jobs in multilateral organizations. The best way to do this is exactly not to serve one capital, not to serve one particular interest, but exactly to serve the principles of the organization we are given the responsibility to represent. So no double standards means ensuring that all the time the commitments, in my case of the OSCE, and the commitments of the participating states have voluntarily taken by becoming members of the OSCE are fully upheld. This is the way you kill all double standards fears.
Great.